It is October the 30th, 2021. I'm Andy, and this is the Minorcan Mullet Report from the Golden Ray Rec Site and the Port of Brunswick today. Well, we headed out, and we got a glimpse of somebody headed off, and we had to run over and see it, and it was the Stephanie Dann. This tugboat has been with the operation for quite a while, and we wanted to shoot a little video. This is going to be the last chance we have to see this vessel. And she was pulling one of the Weeks barges. This is one of the barges that we'd seen for so many months, anchored up over near Jekyll Island as a kind of a staging barge for the environmental equipment that was used on the site. Beautiful tugboat. Completed her task here with the project, and its last bit of bidding is to take this barge away, and it's like seeing an old friend leave, and somebody that you may have known for a while and are pretty sure you're probably never going to see again, and you don't want them to go, but it has to happen. It's just a little bit bittersweet. Beautiful tug, great crew. We were kind of sad to see them go.
Stephanie Dann, Minorcan, Channel 13, Copy Radio.
Yeah, come on, man.
Hey, it looks like you fellas are headed out. Probably be the last time we see you here. Give y'all a shout and tell y'all thank y'all, appreciate everything y'all done, and I want you guys to have a safe trip.
Thank you there, Andy. Look, man, I enjoy looking at your videos, man. Really, the whole crew, we'd watching things all the time. It was awesome. Good work in here, man. Me and Mark was just saying that. We're saying, man, I'm going to miss this place, We've been here a year and 8 months with this tug, We're going to miss it.
All right. We certainly appreciate everything y'all have done. Outstanding job. I know somebody probably won't do it, but y'all might have to do it yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Job well done. And you guys take care. Stay safe.
Thank you so much. You be safe too, and good talking to you.
And as we kind of circled around here, we stepped out onto the deck of our boat. Captain stepped out of the wheelhouse. We gave each other a wave, and she powered on by, headed out the shipping channel into the open ocean. The VB 10,000 itself has been undergoing sea fastening preparations to make way for open sea. Here we can see that the lifting blocks have been secured. They have a spreader bar system, and they are kind of pulled down with cables to secure them, getting ready for the sea. We could see that the maintenance barge that we've come to know was there at the boat. It had the VB had its a crane and some of the other miscellaneous equipment on it, but it's there. We expect to see the VB leave the St.simons Sound within the next 48 hours. It looks like it's getting real close to being ready. We did have some wind today. Wind was up about 20 knots at times, and we can just imagine that they're probably going to want winds to be kind of lower, just because the amount of sail this vessel has to have on it with this twin superstructure double gantry system. It's 255 feet tall, so you can just imagine the amount of wind resistance that's up there. I'm sure that they're going to want to have the best possible conditions to pull it out. They've got to navigate these pylons here on both sides of the environmental barrier gate to get it out. It's a pretty tight fit, and so we expect all this to happen. The weather's going to be good. They're going to finish up their sea fastening projects, and we now know that the Crosby leader made the Port of Brunswick today. We didn't have video of that, but we understand the leader now has made the Port of Brunswick. The Crosby Star is there. Fuel's been put on the Star. The leader's ready to go. So we expect that anytime they get the call that they're going to be pulling this super structure, the VB-10,000, out of the barrier and start making their way out the channel. Now, while the sea fastening has been taking place here on the VB-10,000, the environmental barrier was in play today as the crane here was picking it up. They're picking it up and they're putting it into Connex boxes aboard the barge that's here. Environmental barrier. Yeah, it worked some of the time, but just it was a bit of a disappointment, and probably the source of a lot of my frustration with the project. But here it is, it's being picked up. And this is the top of the barrier. The barrier is comprised of a system of pilings, a cable-like net system, and then this rubber inflatable top cap that was supposed to kind of keep the oil corralled, which it did some, but not nearly as effective as we had hoped. But it began to come up today. This crane working, picking up big chunks of it, and its day is over. And speaking with Michael Himes with the Coast Guard at the town hall meeting that we had, all the vehicles that are left down on the ocean now, I feel pretty confident that any fluids that are in those that is capable of escaping has already done so. So the need for this environmental barrier has gone away. Time for it to come up. Here we see it being lifted up by the crane. Environmental crews were also out today. We saw them in a couple of different locations. This was just east of the Sidney Lanier Bridge. They were out looking for debris, kind of scouting the shoreline. And we expect this activity to continue on. The SCAT teams, as they're known, will continue to work the area, looking for car parts, pieces, debris, ship debris, whatever they're going to work on getting that up. Now, over in the port, we caught this aerial device being lifted up by the Thor crane. You can see it here. This was going over to Section 5, which they have been working on. This is the Mars company working on this part of the project. And the things they have done is just pretty phenomenal. This is the yard at 615 Bay Street, and we can see some of the deck debris that they have gotten off of Section 5. And when you look at Section 5 itself, it is nothing more than a mere shell. Just about, I think maybe there are 2 cars that are wedged in there that they couldn't have got, but everything else has been cleaned out. And the next thing we expect to happen here is we're probably going to see some welding on the top side of this to get some lifting eyes in place for Thor. And then we're probably going to start to see this section get dismantled and placed down on that barge. It's going to be quite the sight to see these pieces picked up and swung over. We're looking forward to seeing that as the final 2 sections are pulled apart here in the Port of Brunswick. Also, the 2 bear cubs, those are the smaller tugs with the monitors that we saw working inside the environmental barrier, trying to keep contaminants pushed inside there. They were alongside the dock in the Port of Brunswick. We expect to see these boats lifted up and placed on a barge soon for transport away. Their time is done. They've been a very big part of the operation day in and day out. One blue and one red. The Robert, the Weeks tug, the crews were there and looked like they were spooling new cable onto the tow winch, which could mean a couple things. Could mean that the cable was simply worn out, needed to be replaced, or that these guys are really preparing for a pretty strong tow. We think these are the guys that are probably going to be pulling the 533 away. 533 in the Port of Brunswick, doing some work at the laydown yard for the operation. It looked like they were loading up some of the barges that are there, some of the material that was on that lot. Again, the whole decommissioning process continues and is moving along at a very rapid pace. And the 533, that's the derrick barge that we came to know on the site every day, taking care of issues with pilings. Saw it pick up a boat or two just out on the site when they needed some heavy lifting capabilities. It was there. Little Duke, the dive boat, the second dive boat that we saw on the job, was motoring about today. We're not sure if I'm assuming that the divers will stay around for some of the cleanup. That all remains to be seen. And then here we see Section 4 and some beautiful looking vehicles, and then some not so good looking vehicles. It has some of everything here. We had cars that still had window stickers in the windows that were visible with a little bit of damage, and then we saw other ones that were totally submerged and completely ruined. These didn't look so bad. They're I'm sure they have some dents and scratches in them. Crosby Star, we now know that it's been joined by the Crosby Leader. The spreader bars here that were used to hold up those sections as they were being cut with the straps, here visible on the barge and ready for departure. Things are just kind of dwindling to a stop here. The project slowly begins to slow down from what was the cutting and removal process of the ship. Now we still have a lot of cleanup to do on the bottom of the ocean, and we're going to continue to watch that for you guys and bring that story to you, which we think there's quite a few vehicles down there. We know that they lost quite a few during the cutting operation, and then there's quite a few that are down there where the sides of the ship separated off of sections 4 and 5 when they were being lifted. Well, hey, that's going to do it for the report today. We're going to ask you, if you haven't done it yet, to subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up, send us some comments, share the video. Keep doing that for us. But most of all, we want you guys to stay safe out there.